So in particular, we're looking at how the EEG and ERPs of gifted children differ from their control group. Now, EEG is simply just a test that maps brain waves, right? And shows how the brain is working during activity. So it records the electrical activity of the brain. Probably seen illustration when they put those nodes on the brain to measure brain waves as well. So that's all that an EEG is. And what the EEG shows also are these ERPs, which are minute voltage fluctuations in the brain's electrical activity that are actually triggered by specific sensory or cognitive or motor events. So what the findings show, what is mentioned in this highlighted portion, is that the findings on the psychophysiological characteristics of gifted children, which might underlie the actual cognitive characteristics that we see in gifted children. So by
Okay.
examining brain patterns, researchers can identify specific regions and networks that are more active or efficient in gifted children. So this helps pinpoint the neural basis of advanced skills in like their problem solving, why they're maybe able to problem solve quicker and with greater accuracy, their memory and attention. And so the EEG studies of these brain maps of these ERPs, these little minute fluctuations in the brain, show that gifted children differ significantly from the control group in both early and late ERP components. And this is where it gets a little bit jargony and deep into the neuroscience of it. But the earliest component of the ERP reflects the earliest stages of information processing, and amplitude of the parietal P1 in response to a stimulus when solving geometric problems was increased in gifted children, older adolescent boys in particular, which is very interesting. So their brain waves, these fluctuations in their brains were heightened and much more heightened in solving specifically, right, these geometric problems than sort of the control group peers. So the authors explain this effect by early analytical activation and more focused attention related to the stimuli in gifted in comparison with control children.
Mm.
So overall, in summary, just showing and illustrating that yes, indeed, the brain actually does function differently and works differently, slightly differently in these gifted children than sort of your average, the way your brain works, which is fascinating to me and, makes so much sense because we all are so different. And you see that all the time in talking with the people. You can read the same thing, you can experience the same thing, and two people are going to take in very different things from it because of the way their brain works, what they focus on, what they find out. And so absolutely, in these findings, what they have found is yes, the children who are gifted tend to show that their brain does show slightly different functioning in certain areas than your average children. They just have different capacities. And, I think we all know that our brain is incredible and we don't use our brain to
Right.
its full, none of it really to its fullest capacity. And some of us just, for whatever reason, are able to use more of it,
Right.
in a different way than others of us. And it literally is different wiring in the brains, just like in all different, we are so different in so many ways.